Hey, back in the studio here at ONTV. It is 12 o'clock already. Can you believe it? It's Wednesday, third day of the ONTV's 14th annual food drive for fish. I'm Ian Locke, Executive Director here at ONTV. And with me is our studio manager, Joe Johnson, sitting in on Sports Day.
Sports Day. I forgot my jersey. I would have worn that.
I got mine. I'm dressed down a little bit. I got my Dragons cancer awareness jersey that we bought for, sponsored for my mom.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that was a number of years ago. But this is such a great program that the varsity football team puts on, Coach Bell puts on, and the school, and they've been doing it a number of years. So always, this time, during this portion of the food drive, I always sport my mom's jersey and my green and white Dragons. So, here we are. We're here in day 3. It's Wednesday. It's Sports Day. So all day long, you're going to see feature games. I think the Oxford Orion football game from this past fall was just running, leading into this 12 o'clock lunch hour break.
We're here till that was, wasn't it?
Can you? Were we surprised? I don't know. Were we surprised? I think we were a little bit surprised.
I was pleasantly surprised, yeah. And they went, pretty deep into the playoffs, and like our Lions, it was a little heartbreaker there in the playoffs.
To a team that they already beat.
Yeah,
and that was hard.
Yeah, but they gave us a great season.
They did. It was great, and Coach Bell back at the helm and turned it. Get the defense solidified, and it was just a ton of fun. And you mentioned that too. Our sideline camera guy over here for football. So why are we here today? It is the third day. Again, I said it before. Wednesday, third day of our food drive. What's our totals? I don't know if you have them on the screen, but we've updated them overnight. Some of our sponsors have been added, and we've had some cash donations late yesterday and early today. So we are sitting at $9,200, and the odd bid is we're trying to raise $6,000. So I guess we did our job.
Yeah, if my math is correct.
Yep, and we have 20 donations so far, and a lot of corporate sponsors. Want to thank Tanya Hamilton, the executive director over at NLCC, for her $100 donation yesterday. That popped in after we were off the air. So Tanya, a good friend of ONTV, work together all the time. So thank you for that donation. $100 goes a very long way at Fish. And so we can't say our collection goal is $6,000. What we will push is we have maybe 4 bags of food in our production van.
Yeah, you gotta bring the food in. Bring the food in.
Yep, and if you can see the graphic on the screen, we're trying to fill that big white van and drop it off at 1349 Joslin Road at the Orion Center. Right now, we're collecting all the way through Friday to about 5 p.m. And if the donations don't start coming in a little faster pace here, we're thinking of actually keeping the van available next week as well, because it is that important. When you and I were talking, you did a video. We'll see that later in this segment. But tell us about what they were telling you about what was going on at Fish this fall and winter.
Yeah, well, so the holidays, they get a ton of donations during the holidays. Everyone's in a giving spirit, and the schools have food drives, and the churches bring food in. And so they were able to stock their shelves over the holidays. But now, at this time of the year, things start to get a little light, and they kind of expect the donations to thin out a little bit. Now, one of the things I talked to Sue Black about over at Fish.
Will she be here?
I think she may be here today. I'm not sure. I know
supposed to have an interview with Fish.
We're going to have some bodies here in the studio. But I asked her how inflation is affecting not only donations but clients. And she said the donations that are coming in are kind of up and down. They are feeling the effect. But she said the clients are getting hit hard. You'll see in the video a little bit later that she said one of their clients came in and said rent is skyrocketing. Food prices are skyrocketing, which is why maybe donations are light to our van. Yep. And so inflation is taking its toll on the Fish food pantry. So I don't know what, I usually, in the past, I've gotten like a case of canned fruit or something. I don't know how much, more expensive that is this year. I'm kind of curious. But yeah, people who want to buy food and bring it in and donate, inflation is taking its toll.
Yeah.
So
and that's why, like, when we're talking about the cash donations, when we swapped over to the Food and Fun drive,
Yeah.
is that Fish was telling us that having that cash on hand, it allows them to strategically buy items when they need it or they're low. So they can get fresh meat, fresh fruits and vegetables and that sort of thing. So they don't have products sitting on the shelves too long, which isn't an issue now. I mean, they're turning over the donations quickly.
Well,
but,
what I witnessed last week, Ron Wood, who they're all volunteers over at the food pantry. What I witnessed last week is they have families come in and basically shop. But before the families come in, Ron goes up and down the aisle, see where things are a little light, like some of the fresh produce bins were kind of empty. He takes an assessment, then he disappears, goes over to Meyer, comes back with bags and bags and bags and fills those gaps, fills those empty spaces. That's another thing that the money donations do, is allow them to fill very specific needs.
Yep. And before we talk any deeper on this subject, we do have, like we said, we're about $9,300 cash collection. A lot of our corporate sponsors, without them, we wouldn't even be in this positive position right now. So thank you to them. And every day we have new sponsors that are helping us out with the donations. So let's see a video of today's sponsors of the food drive. All of us at ONTV would like to thank our corporate sponsors for their generous donations. Today's portion of the 2024 ONTV Food Drive is brought to you by Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply, located at 719 East Mandolin Avenue in Madison Heights. The family-owned business has been serving the Detroit metro area for over 30 years. Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply is supporting the food drive for a second year and is a 5-day sponsor. In addition to the ONTV Food Drive, they proudly support other charitable events and organizations, such as Toys for Tots, Bottomless Chest, and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. For more information, give them a call at 248-588-4690 or visit their website, MadisonHeightsPlumbingSupply.com. Northern Wholesale Flooring, located at 118 Indianwood Road in Lake Orion. Northern Wholesale Flooring has been an active member of the community for over 38 years. They are a returning partner of the ONTV Food Drive and are a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can visit their website, nflooring.com. Ohana Wealth Advisory. This is Ohana Wealth Advisory's second year supporting the food drive, and they are a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can give them a call at 248-246-8080. Kroger, located at 3097 South Baldwin Road in Orion Township. This year, Kroger is a 5-day sponsor, thanks to a generous $500 donation to the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. For more information about Kroger, visit their website, kroger.com, or give them a call at 248-393-0765. Meyer of Lake Orion, located at 1107 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Meyer is a year-round supporter of the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry, collecting food pantry donations through their Simply Give program. They are a 5-day sponsor of the ONTV Food Drive with a charitable $500 contribution. For more information, visit their website, Meyer.com. M3 Investments, located at 990 North Main Street in Royal Oak. Having a plan that is designed around your goals and financial situation can help you successfully navigate the risks you are likely to face. Whether you're just starting out, thinking about retirement, or just retired, Christine can help. For more information about M3 Investments, you can give them a call at 248-543-3400. Galling Buick GMC, located at 1491 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Galling is a longtime supporter of the food drive, returning this year as a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can visit their website at GallingBuickGMC.com.
Culver's, located at 4963 Interpark Drive North in Lake Orion. Culver's is a longtime partner with the ONTV Food Drive and helps to keep our crew fed. For more information about Culver's, you can visit their website, culvers.com. You can also give them a call at 248-276-2222. And by Home Depot, located at 2600 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Home Depot is a longtime sponsor of the ONTV Food Drive. This year they donated $200 to the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. For more information about Home Depot, take a look at their website, homedepot.com. You can also give them a call at 248-393-9990.
All right, amazing sponsors. Every day a new batch of sponsors come online to help us out here at the Food Drive. And the ones that you just saw have been with us a long time, a lot of them.
Yeah, we're so grateful. And, you know, it's interesting. I was just thinking in the decade or so that we've been doing this, how the focus has shifted. Initially, the focus was food donations, and people would come in through the door and load up our office space with
Saturday.
food. Yeah, and it was all done in one day. And then, of course, the COVID pandemic came around.
We don't want to talk about that.
And we said, well, we don't want people walking in through the door with food. So we shifted to this, money drive, a week-long money drive.
Yeah,
and it's
fun,
been very, very successful.
It has.
Last year we shattered our record.
It was astonishing. It was over 12,000, I know.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of saying, hey, with the way we rocketed through our 6,000 goal, maybe 12,000 isn't out of the picture.
Let's do it.
We could hit 12,000, and like we said, that money then can be used strategically to buy needed items. And let's take a peek at some of the needed items this time of year, as we know that the seasons change. The items that fish for the shelves, and for those who come into the food pantry, they change. And there you go on the screen, a nice list of items for you to consider to donate. Canned pineapple, mandarin oranges, and fruits in general.
Yeah.
Chilies, beef stew, sloppy joe, all those hearty type of meals you want in the cold winter months, though it's supposed to be like 50 degrees this week.
Yeah.
What do we say? Ketchup and mustard, canned chickens, chunky soups, baked beans, cake mixes, taco shells, feminine hygiene products, and shampoo, soaps, you name it. Even school supplies. We saw they're taking school supplies, and if you are in a food emergency.
Oh, yeah. You can reach out to the Fish Food Pantry. Phone number is 248-628-3933, or you can go to oxfordorionfish.org. And not only are they looking for donations, but you can volunteer your time as well.
Exactly.
So, yeah, lots of ways to get involved. Now, something relatively new that Fish is doing, I don't know if you've heard this, but they are providing snacks at the schools.
Oh.
And any time of the day, if a student has some hunger and they just need something to kind of get through the day, there's an area set up where Fish is going to keep it supplied and put something in the tummies of the students.
That is news to me. I did not hear that. That is a great, right? So it's not just a food pantry, right? They're actually thinking about the whole community. How can they help and get the needed items out to those in need, beyond just you walking in and doing your shopping and getting the needed items for your family.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool. And just a reminder too, something we always know, we tend to forget to mention, is you can sponsor a shelf. So if your family or church, your community group or whatever, you get coworkers together, you can sponsor a shelf. So it's your job your name's on the shelf, the organization's name on the shelf, and you just stock it with the items that they need in that category. And we know the VFW and others do the same thing. They sponsor shelves, and it really helps fill those gaps between the different drives.
Yeah, and you have two options. You can donate money, and then the volunteers at Fish can stock those shelves, or you can check in periodically and restock the shelf yourself. So, yeah, that's a great way to get involved.
Yep, but it's a great way to get involved, but we're asking you, get involved, right? And that's why we're here today for the 14th Annual Food and Fun Drive for Fish. We have some sponsor videos just to share with you. We like putting these little nuggets together to share why these corporations are sponsoring and the different community-based activities they have in our community and how they can impact. You might not see it, but it's out there, and these businesses are doing more in our community than just offering their services. So take a look at a couple of our sponsor videos today.
The Home Depot Foundation is our nonprofit as Home Depot, and we live by 8 values. Those values encompass who we are, what we do every single day. So one of them is giving back and building those community relationships. So our foundation gives us that opportunity to write grants for nonprofits, to make a difference in people's lives. And our foundation was kind of on hold for the COVID period, but we're coming out of that, and it's really exciting because we're going to be able to get back to doing what we love best, getting our hands dirty outside of the store and helping these nonprofits and change a lot of lives. Most recent is the Orion Veterans Memorial. We actually redid the Victory Garden there, which was really exciting. I think it was originally done about 7 years ago, and the wooden beds were just crumbling. It was time to give it a facelift and create something new. So they redid everything in this one section of Victory in honoring women in service. The others in local community that we've helped, besides the Veterans Memorial, the Orion Art Center, we've done many things with them over the years. Both Legions, whether it's the American Legion in downtown Lake Orion or it's the American Legion up on Drainer, we've helped them. Let's see what else. Oh, the gazebo. We did the gazebo in downtown. That was a big project.
Home Depot's back here at Friendship Park. You're not necessarily replacing the garden beds, you're adding 6 additional ones. Talk about what's happening.
Yeah, so today we are adding 6 additional beds, but the exciting thing about it is we're actually adding 6 raised beds. So the current beds that are there are all low to the ground. And actually, after personally being out here and renting one of the spaces, my mom had a hard time with her artificial knees. And I thought, there's got to be a way that we can get some raised beds so the senior citizens or people in the community that are having the same trouble have the opportunity to come here and garden. And that's how it works. Through the Orion Center, you can rent one of the beds yearly from May 1st to October 1st. And once you have your plot, you can renew every year. And now they'll have the ability to rent out 6 more for those in the community and those that maybe can't garden on the ground. The food drive is so important to us here at our local store because it gives our associates, I don't want to say an easy way to get involved in the community. Over the years, it is so surprising to me how many don't know about Oxford Orion Fish. They don't know when they pass that building on Lapeer Road what that building does, what they serve. So when we bring it up, it's always amazing for them, for that light bulb to go on, right, and say they help almost 2,000 families a month. So to connect the community with, there's this nonprofit that is helping those in need, and wait, I can go ahead and help them by buying some, soup or pasta and connecting those two. That's what the food drive really is to us. Again, is our value, connecting with the community, doing the right thing, taking care of others, and it gives our associates a way to do that and see that impact.
Well, the history, my father bought the property in 1991. It took him about 2 years to restore the property and open it up basically as a Christmas village and a giant Christmas store, which was the anchor of the business for a long, long time. Fast forward to 2020, I bought the property for my mom and dad, me and my wife, Angie. And in the last 15 months, we've kind of had quite the whirlwind of change with Canterbury. We are no longer in the retail business, meaning the Christmas. I've leased out every square foot of this place to great local vendors, Yates, Wooden Tulip, Scott's Farm, you name it. We have some really, really great small vendors here. And then we've gotten known for our family events that we do with our programming. Dinosaurs, Halloween, holiday, food truck rallies, things of that nature. And our calendar for 2022 is by far our biggest ever, and it's going to be a crazy summer here. Just go to our Facebook site. I mean, we got everything on there. Our social media team does a great job of keeping people up to speed on what Canterbury's doing. So just go to Facebook, Canterbury Village, and then obviously you can go to canterburyvillage.com on the web, but that'll take you to Facebook as well. I own Dino Stroll, and we've been around the country. Last June was our first road show in Philadelphia, and so we've been at it for about 7 months now. And last weekend we were in St. Louis. This weekend we're in Chantilly, and been all over the country, and it's been a whirlwind. So I never thought I'd be in the dinosaur carnival business, but I am, and I've had a lot of fun, and me and my wife have had a great 15 months, and our charity and giving has been awesome, and we're very lucky and very happy. Well, we have 3 big charities right now. Jay Towers with Jay Juniors. In 15 months, we raised a little over $70,000 for his charity, which is helping sick kids. He takes them to Disneyland every year. And then we've teamed up with Metro Detroit Chevy dealers and the Bottomless Toy Chest. We've raised in the last 2 Christmases thousands and thousands of toys. This year we decided to go a little above and beyond, and we donated $5,000 to the Bottomless Toy Chest. They do a wonderful job with kid pediatrics for 12 months of the year. And then this past summer, we opened up our own food pantry on our campus along with Woodside Bible Church. We call it the Village Food Pantry. And it's been a whirlwind. It's been very fun. I'm super proud of the charity aspects we've given. And in the next few weeks, we're going to announce our 4th charity partner. And then obviously, Matt Pfeiffer gave me a nice phone call about a week or so ago. I can't tip my cap to Matt enough what he does for our community. And if we had another 30 Matt Pfeiffers in Lake Orion, it would be awesome. And he asked me, or Canterbury Village, for a nice donation for the Your Food Drive going on. And of course, I'm always willing to donate and help out. And just because I have my own food pantry doesn't need other ones don't need help as well. So Canterbury donated $1,000 to the food drive and your program in the next couple of weeks here. But if everybody pitched in, that's well-to-do, like you just said, in our community, and a lot of people have, hopefully Oxford Orion Fish, Village Food Pantry, hopefully we can help bring that to attention and really stop hunger in our own little community of Oxford and Orion, and hopefully continue it, through Oakland County and then Metro Detroit. And you know what? We live in America. Nobody should go hungry. I mean, our number one goal in America, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter what you believe in, nobody should be hungry.
So Canterbury Village, they celebrated 30 years last year.
Wow.
They had an event over at their grounds, and unfortunately his father, Stan Aldrich, who created all that, passed away last year at the age of 84.
Yeah.
But always something going on at Canterbury Village, and we really appreciate their support.
They are hopping. The events over there is amazing, and I know in the video they talked about the dinosaur exhibit. It's nationwide. I mean, they send that thing all over the place, and I can say my nephew, who is 5, loved it.
Oh, yeah.
And it is really, really good. So the work they're doing over there and the variety that happens is, Canterbury, they do a great job. And on the video, too, he mentioned a donation to the food drive. So Keith Aldridge has a challenge for businesses and people in the community to donate $100, and he'll match it up to $1,000. So can we get another $1,000 donation? So he'll match his $1,000 to that to get $2,000. So that's what we've been working on since Monday. And so far, I have to go through and see if we got any extra businesses. I think we had $100 donation from a business outside. So we're getting there, but we need to get we need to get those matching funds, because that's really take us where we need to go.
Yeah, you know, and that's one thing, you know, I always say this, it's really unfortunate that we even have to do this and that fish even has to exist, but it is a reality we have to deal with. But having said that, the Lake Orion community always comes through. They always come through to help those in need. When there was a fire in downtown Lake Orion and the residents of that boarding house were displaced, the community came through and got them supplies and clothing and money to help them move on. So the Lake Orion community, they never disappoint. They always come through and help those in need.
Yep, and again, we're here for fish today. This is our 14th annual food and fun drive for fish, and in the video you notice there are other resources out there. If you can't get a hold of fish, the food pantry over at Canterbury Village is available. You have Forgotten Harvest over on Mondays over at Canterbury as well. So just drive up, grab some food. If you're in an emergency, you can. So we're going to change gears a little bit. There's a lot happening around the community, and I'm sure you guys get this in your mail, Orion Living magazine, right? This is an award-winning magazine that has really taken off over the last couple of years with all of the information and activities happening seasonally around the Orion area. ONTV has our page. We're on the back of the winter edition on the very last page, so when you're I try to get the first page, but you know, they bumped us to the back, but a lot of good info on there. But what we're going to kind of pivot to is this is election season.
Oh yeah.
Like it or not, it is. We're now in that cycle again, and it's not just about presidential and, you know, our House reps and senators and that sort of thing. We're also talking about a millage, a school millage coming up, the non-homestead millage, and the sinking fund are on the ballot as well. And the dates for those are February 27th.
The primary election.
Yes.
Yep.
So if you already have your absentee ballot, you fill it out, great, get it in, but just be ready for it, because it seems like our primaries have been moved up some quite a bit. You know, some gamesmanship trying to be more important inside, you know, for whatever reason, we've moved them up, the primaries up. So it is the 27th of this month. So be ready and be informed. And inside the winter edition, you have information about all of the two proposals, the non-homestead millage and the sinking fund. So there's details in here, and you should be getting mailers home and coming in the mail with more detail about it. And I think they're doing talks. Jim Roback, one of our camera operators, there was a meeting earlier today, so that the school districts are running around giving information, making sure everybody's aware of what this is about, because it's very important. Taxes aren't going to go up. It is just a renewal. And so just get your information, be aware, and support the schools, because these funds, these millages have to pass to help fully fund the schools, and for the schools to get their full allotment from the state of Michigan per pupil, right? So if you don't, this goes down, we're going to have to do it again, because you cannot operate without the non-homestead millage. So for more information on that, Joe, you interviewed Ben Kirby, the superintendent,
Ben Kirby
right?
stopped in. Yeah, we do what we can to help spread the word. So he stopped into the studio, and he can explain it far better than we can ever hope to explain what's on the ballot.
Yes, I can throw stuff out there. I worked at a school district for 11 years, so I kind of know how all this works, but a superintendent always does it much cleaner and much better than I could ever do, like Joe was saying. So we have a video from an Orion Today, not too long ago, our other live show that we do bi-weekly. And let's take a peek at that, and so we can learn more about this upcoming millage renewal.
Hello and welcome back to Orion today. That does not look like my idea of fun, being out in the cold golfing. But are you a golfer?
I am. I enjoy golf. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'd enjoy golf in this this temperature, but
Joining us now is Ben Kirby, Superintendent of Lake Orion Community Schools. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. Before we get into our main topic, we rolled a video clip of Marion Giannopoulos. She was your predecessor before you came in as superintendent. Any memories, any thoughts you want to share on Marion?
well, many of the staff that I work with was blessed to work with her. I was not. I definitely was aware of the impact that she made. Over 50 years of education, you know, she's really made a difference for a lot of children, a lot of staff, and the people that worked with her really appreciated her. So she clearly put a good team in place. The team I inherited is one that our whole community can be proud of.
So you come in smack dab in the middle of COVID, so you face some challenges coming into this district, but it's been an amazing 10 years so far with new construction and improvements to schools. What has it been like being superintendent since you've come on board?
Yeah, we're really blessed to have a very supportive community. We have a great staff. Coming in the middle of COVID was definitely maybe not the most opportune time, but the best thing about it is it can only get better.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we really felt like we were trying to do is really just manage conflict through that. There was so much, a lot of different thoughts about things, but we continue to educate to our maximum potential, and we continue to do the bond projects and continue to improve our buildings. We've built 2 buildings during that time frame, Early Childhood Center and Blanche Sims, and those are just beautiful facilities, and we thank the community for that support.
How is that possible? How are these new developments possible? Now, there's a difference between the bond and the millage. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. School funding is very complicated, and that's part of the reason that we're doing 2 millage proposals at one time. A lot of the work that I'm doing when I'm going out is really helping people understand how schools are funded. So we get money from the state of Michigan through the Per Pupil Foundation, but that portion of that money, the 18 mills, which is the non-homestead, we have to get from our local community in order to get the full foundation allowance. If our community doesn't support the non-homestead and the 18 mills, we can't send 18 mills to the state of Michigan to turn around and send us back, plus the additional funds. So if we ever fall below that 18 mills, we aren't sending enough, therefore the state doesn't send us enough back, so we don't get a full foundation allowance if this non-homestead millage doesn't pass. And so again, we've been very fortunate since 1994 that it's been supported and that it's moved forward. It is a significant amount of money. It's about $11 million a year. And ultimately, that is for our general operations, allows us to we have flexibility around that. But then we have the bond, and the bond is the very large projects that we do, our buildings that we actually create, the large items that you see, the building of new schools, that's bond. Sinking fund is different. Sinking fund is more of your small scale projects, the purchase of properties or other items that could help enhance your school facilities. And certainly what we've spent a lot of money on is security improvements. Those are things that were in the sinking fund legislation laws back in 2016 when this was approved. So that is what we can spend money on. And again, there's some changes with that, and that's why we're looking to do a replacement millage with the sinking fund.
Okay, so the election is February 27th. What will people see on the ballot? You said there are 2 separate items on the ballot?
Yes, there are 2 separate items, and we did this during the presidential primary so that it would be no cost to the school district or to the voters. We have options as to when we do our millages, but we did choose that for that reason, and because we do think there will be a good voter turnout. We want people to weigh in on these. So as far as the 2, yes, we are doing replacements for both of them. They're both 10 years. They both will continue at the exact same rates where they currently are today. So those, homeowners, business owners, everybody maintains the rates at which they currently are for both of these things. And it would be the 18 mills, and it would be the 1.8862 is what the sinking fund is. And so we really tried to keep that in mind as we were asking, having to ask. The voters will see 2 separate pieces of language because they are 2 separate millages. We will ask the voters for the sinking fund to authorize, for the non-homestead to authorize 21 mills. The school district can never levy more than 18, but that gives us a buffer for the Headley amendment that's in the Michigan Constitution that annually ticks those types of things down. And that's why we're doing a replacement, because when this was approved back in 14, the non-homestead, it has ticked down because of the Headley, and it's really close to that 18, and we run the risk of our final year of being below 18, which would mean we wouldn't get the full student funding for that year, or we go back to the voters in a separate election to ask for them to approve it for 1 year, and that doesn't seem to be a fiscally responsible thing to do.
That's smart. Right.
So what's on your slate? What would you like to see happen, or what does the district have planned over the next 10 years or so? What are some high priority things you want to tackle?
Well, 10 years is a long time, so we do a strategic plan for 5 years, and those 5 years, it seems like it's a really long time. Obviously, we are in the middle of, the bond, and the bond is a really big piece of what we do in the school district with the improvements and so on. Our largest scale projects are really completed. We have, we'll start our planning for the next 3 years of the bond this month, where that actually impacts Scripps, the old high school, and then, CERC, yeah, and then that we call it the Scripps campus, high school campus, but we're going to try to work on the traffic flow there, and then the high school facility. There's some needs there that we have. Paint Creek Elementary is another area that will have some needs, but academically we continue to push and really try to bring in the new technologies. The AI piece has scared a lot of people, but we've embraced it and tried to help our staff understand how to utilize that and how to help our students utilize that as a resource. That's part of what we do. Overall, we're continuing to try to get more kids into trades, those types of those careers. We have children that go off to college. It depends on what the families, want for their children, what the children want for themselves. But we do try to get them to their maximum potential. So as far as like 10 years, that's really hard to say, because honestly, we are getting students prepared for jobs that don't even exist right now.
Right. Wow.
So that'll continue to evolve.
It's amazing. I came out to this community in late '93, so it's been over 30 years now, and I still think of the high school as being the new high school.
Right.
And my
We hear
brain
that a lot,
is the new high school, but it's closing in on 30 years.
Right.
What are you seeing at the high school? Is there anything that needs to be addressed at the high school, or do you sort of knock those down as things happen? How's the high school holding up in these 30 years?
Well, just like any facility that's 30 years old, it needs repairs, and that's why we have the sinking fund currently in place. That's why we need to continue to have the sinking fund, because it really helps us with some of those small scale projects and maintenance items and things. The roof, we know we're going to have issues with that. We got to address that. The parking lots, we've got to address that. Weather like this causes havoc, so we have to do those kinds of things. And again, that sinking fund money, those are the types of projects that we can do, so we don't have to use a general operating fund, which is how we pay for our staff, how we pay for our student programs and all of that. When you look at the high school, it's a beautiful facility, but there's always ways to freshen up, make it look nicer. When you start looking at some of the things that other districts have done, and we've certainly done that, there's some very large ticket items that you could look at, whether they be performance centers, field houses, alternative or auxiliary gyms. There's just different things, that you could do. And again, it just comes with an interest. And what we are really trying to be focused on in the next 3 years is, how do we support the robotics to be able to continue their practices when we remove some of the CERC, and how do we have our athletic teams continue to strive and thrive and do the work that they do, and our academic programs continue to be, on the edge all the time. And we have 120 plus opportunities course-wise for our students. That's going to continue to expand as these jobs evolve and our student interests become more known.
Throw some numbers at me. I know in the late '90s, the district was experiencing this boom, and they were bringing on new teachers, and enrollment was skyrocketing, and then it kind of hit a peak and sort of leveled off. Now there's talk of all kinds of new residential development in downtown Lake Orion. What do you see now as far as enrollment district-wise, and what direction is it heading? Are you anticipating it going up with this new development, leveling off, or is there a decline right now?
Yeah, you know, it's an interesting question that doesn't have a great answer, and here's the reason why. We know a lot of families have left the state of Michigan, right? So with the families go the children. So when you look at the number of students that are actually in public education, that number in totality has gone down quite a bit. When you look at our student enrollment, our upper class, our seniors, juniors, and sophomores, those classes are larger than our incoming kindergarten. So overall, the population ends up going down. But when you start talking about some of these different residential pieces that come in, we have been paying attention to that. And again, with a sinking fund, that allows us to put rooms on, not new buildings, but rooms on if we do have the capacity needs necessary. We have very good class sizes in our district currently, so we know that we have some buffer, so to speak, for new children, and we keep that in mind. We have a school of choice program that allows us to bring children in from outside of the district, but we have in the last year, and we will again, reduce that by about 50%, the number of children we bring in, expecting that we're going to have more coming in. So those projects, a lot of them they're in concept. Some of them there's lumber out there, and some of them, you know, people are starting to move in. But until that all really happens, you know, it is hard to predict that type of thing. But one of the things that we do have a really good success rate on is the birth rate. And the birth rate continues to go down in our county. And we continue to have, over the last 10 years, we've been really good with our capture rate, with the number of children and the birth rate and so on in our public schools. So we spend a lot of time talking about it, and we do a pretty good job with projections, and we'll continue to do that. But those are some of the strategies and things that we think about when we go through that.
That's awesome. You know, this district wins award after award after award. All the schools do, the Blue Ribbon Awards and all that stuff. What can you say to the voters who you want to come out to the polls in February about maintaining that level of quality?
Yeah, and that's really what we're asking people to maintain as far as the expenses on their part. What we are telling them is we're going to maintain and go above. We're going to continue to make our schools greater than they are. Every single day we're looking to try to improve. And it's not just about those that have children in our schools. That's about 33% of our Orion Township population. But we have lots of facility rentals. We have lots of community events that happen within our schools. Their property values are directly tied to the success of the schools. Make no mistake about it, we have a good reputation, and it's about the people that are within our school district and the children that we're serving. And that all comes into place because we have great community support. So it's all intertwined, and when you see communities that don't have that support, you see schools that can't bring in the best instructional people, the best educational leaders, and those types of things. So we are in a very good cycle, and I hope that people understand that it's not only about the school system, it's their own properties, it's their own reputation, it's their own services they're going to have in their township. It's all very interwoven, and we're in a really good spot, and I'd hate to see that interrupted.
Yeah. There's always a faction out there who's just anti-tax. You know, I don't want to pay more taxes than I have to, but it's for the greater good, right? I mean, like you just said, it benefits the entire community.
Yeah, it really does. And the way schools are funded, we have no option. So since 1994 with Proposal A, we have to have the non-homestead to get full foundation allowance. There's not a lot of ways to create revenue in a school district. We get the money from Lansing with the per pupil foundation allowance, and then you can do bond and you can do sinking funds. You can try to sell property if you have property. You can do schools of choice, which we do a little bit of schools of choice. You can do shared time services, but those are all really small ways to get money. We have about a $100 million budget that we work from. But a lot of that money, the over $10 million that the state gave us last year, a $100 million budget, it wasn't for us to spend, it was to turn around and put it into the retirement system. So we couldn't even use that for our people. So it's just really complicated. And yes, it hurts paying taxes, but the thing that I would say is that we've been very thoughtful in that we are not increasing the levies for the next 10 years with these replacements. They will remain exactly where they're at today. Now your home values hopefully will go up, so you might see a little bit of an increase that way, but what we are actually levying will not go up for the next decade with these replacements. So people can look at it as an assurance that there's going to be some stability for them, because it's the only way we can get money. So we're going to have to, continue to try to find ways and get ways to get money, and there's very limited ways and avenues.
Now, in the documents that we have,
Yeah.
the term non-homestead means not necessarily this is going to impact homeowners. This
Correct.
Affects businesses, second homes, rental property, and vacant land.
Correct.
So that's not necessarily coming out of from homeowners.
Correct. The PRE, primary residence exemption, any of the properties, your primary home, is not part of that 18 mils. So even though you don't have to pay that, you get to vote that it gets approved or not approved. So that's, again, part of the Proposal A strategy was everybody gets to vote on it, fewer people pay for it, so it's going to get supported in communities. I think, that was kind of the mindset with that. Yes, for sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
So the election is February 27th.
Yes.
Is there anything else going to be on that ballot, or is that going to be the only issue that people are asking to go out and vote on that day?
I'm not sure.
Don't know.
It's a
Is it-
presidential primary.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Other
that's
issues
okay.
I
So
don't
there
know
is
about.
some
Yep,
stuff
it's a
going-
presidential primary, and that was one of our strategies when we looked at it, is what other asks are there in the community. We're not familiar with any additional local asks, when you look at, some of the different levies that are up. So, yeah.
Good, good.
I will say, just on a personal note, I have 4 dragons. My oldest graduated in 2011, and then I had a 21 and a 22, and then now I have an 8th grader coming up to the high school. One of the reasons we moved here was because of the schools, and I have never regretted that decision at all. I mean, I know you got emails from me during the pandemic because I was being an obnoxious band mom, but anyway, I cannot speak more highly of the education that my children have gotten and the level of care and concern that they've gotten from administration, from their teachers. I'm just an impressed parent, and I fully support this. Like
We appreciate that.
You have to invest in the kids in your community. You just really do. So
Yeah, I hear that all the time, that people, when they make a decision on where to live, schools can
Yeah.
be a huge
Absolutely.
factor in that.
Absolutely.
And, I like to use the phrase quality of life, that the
Absolutely.
schools contribute to the quality of life here in Lake Orion.
And it's circular too. If you have a strong business community that gets support from the families in the community, it's all in this system. I used to say this, at the chamber all the time. If you've got strong businesses, you're going to have strong nonprofits, and you're going to have. It's all together. It has to be. And if you mess with any bit of that ecosystem, you just don't have the kind of community that we have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and what I really want to emphasize is I want people to be educated about what we're asking
Yeah.
and what we've done. We've really been great stewards of the money for our community, and we have it all laid out there on the website. If you go to our website in the middle, there's an election tab. So that election tab will get you to all the Q&A, to get you to the presentations, get you to how voters vote, how they pay for taxes, where they vote. How we've spent the sinking fund dollars that we've had, how we've spent the bond dollars that we've had. That's really the bottom line, and I want people to know all the things that we've done so that they know all of the things that we will continue to do as leaders in the community.
So it's like orionschools.org, is
You got
that
it.
correct?
You got it.
All right, so head to that website if you have any more questions. I'm sure you can call this gentleman personally
for sure.
if you have any questions.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
So
Should be a bat phone directly to him for that.
Well, here's a great strategy is to get a hold of our communications director, Mark Snyder. He has a communications account, because what he does a wonderful thing of either helping people get to the information or to somebody that can answer the question. It doesn't have to necessarily come to me. We have a great team that's ready and willing to serve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so February 27th, head to the polls and determine the fate of Lake Orion Community Schools.
Yes, absolutely.
All right,
Cast
thanks for
that
coming
vote.
down. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. I hope
Appreciate
we
you
helped
having
get
me.
the word out.
All right.
All right, great interview with Ben Kirby. Always a great resource of information, out and
Important
about, sharing
election.
all that stuff. And he's right. Get a hold of the Lake Orion Community Schools. Mark Snyder, their communications director, is outstanding. We worked with him for a number of years. He's a good friend of ONTV. We work together. And here we go. We dug up some information for you guys for the upcoming primary election. So if you want to do your early voting, site options are listed on your screen. So that's at Oakland County, Michigan, right? Is that right? Help me out, Steve. Township. So this is the township offices, but it's listed as Oakland County, Michigan. Lisa Brown, clerk. But you see Penny Schultz is the clerk, and our locations for early voting. You can do it at Orion Township Municipal Building. That's the new township offices across from Canterbury Village. 2323 Joslyn Road, Lake Orion, Michigan. 48360. And the early voting schedule is on your screen, as you can see. What is it, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And then Thursdays are special hours from noon to 8. So extended hours on that Thursday. Okay? So if you have any questions, call the clerk's office at 248-391-0304, extension 4001. The clerk's office and Penny Schultz, not running for re-election. She's calling it a career. Worked with Penny for 14 years. And she runs a great office and will have all the information you'd ever want on where to go, how to vote, but you got to get those votes in. It's very important. So, yeah.
And, you know, I was talking to someone last week, and there's always people in the community when these millages roll around, they say, well, I don't have kids in school. I shouldn't have to pay taxes that benefit the schools. And their response was, you went to school, didn't you? You got an education, didn't you? You should be grateful that people were paying their taxes so that you were able to get your education. Now it's time for you to help the next generation.
Correct.
So it's very important that the community,
and as a
everyone comes
resident,
together.
I'm a Lake Orion resident. My kids attend Lake Orion Public Schools. They did an outstanding job preparing my kids for college. I mean, my daughter walked into Michigan State University, and they had those her ready to go, and a lot of her friends ready to go. They do a fantastic job. They have wonderful staff over at the high school and elementary and middle. It was a great experience. We cannot complain. I have no complaints about the school system here, and my son's about ready to graduate in June, so I'll be one of those guys. I don't have kids in school, but why did I move here before I had kids? I moved here because the schools are so good.
We touched on that in the interview that you just saw, that good schools bring families to Lake Orion.
Correct.
That helps your property values, your home ownership goes up. It contributes to the quality of life here in Lake Orion and what makes this community so great.
So get out there, vote. Non-homestead millage renewal and the sinking fund. You got to get the vote. Get out there. It's very important nowadays to get your vote and have your vote heard and do that. So we are in the still closing out the 12 o'clock hour. We're waiting for a guest to arrive from Fish. Hopefully have an interview. She just get here. Okay, great. So we're going to hopefully toss it to a check presentation, a special presentation.
Exciting.
And we need to get you a handheld microphone, or we need to slide you over so we can get our interview all taken care of, and then we'll do the check presentation. So live TV here in the ONTV studios. VFW's here. They're great guys. We love those dudes. Trucks rolling around saying, I was watching you guys at noon when you switched over. So he's a fan.
Yeah.
And so, yes, the 14th annual ONTV Food Drive for Fish. We are collecting funds, and we're going to learn more about fish. Joey Wright, do we have a fish video? Should we roll that? Help me out here. Little housekeeping. Okay, how can you donate? Let's do that. So there's multiple ways you can donate. You can donate online at OnTV.org. Click on the Food Drive logo. It'll take you right to our charity GoFundMe. There are some fees that are taken out for the online donations, so just be aware of that. I believe you get an option to absorb those fees. So if, let's say, you donate $100, Fish gets $100. You can also donate in person. We'd love to see you and say thank you in person. Come down to the studio at 1349 Joslin Road at the Orion Center and pop in and drop off your cash donations or your food donations.
Fill that van.
Yeah, man. We're trying to fill that production van. We put our banner out, and it's amazing what a little plastic banner will do with traffic rolling up and down Joslin Road. And yesterday we had 1 bag of groceries in that van, and now we have a couple cases of food. So here are some needed items: canned pineapples, canned mandarin oranges, chilies, beef stew, sloppy joe mix, ketchup and mustard, canned chicken, chunky soups, baked beans, you know, all that good stuff out listed on your screen, including soaps and toiletry items.
Yeah, that's big. People don't think about that. They just think food, but yeah, that's necessary too. So, yeah.
All right. So I'm getting signs of wrap it up, but I need to know where I'm wrapping it up to. So we have VFW here. We got a representative from Fish. So we want to do an interview. We're going to do it here in the studio. We're going to do it out in the lobby. Help me out.
Well, let's do
Fish video. So I get a sign from Steve.
Let's go to the Fish video
We're
first.
going to go to a Fish video to give us some 4-minute breathing room to try to get this thing sorted out. Live TV. What are you going to do? Okay. Take a look at this video. Joe, masterful job putting this video together about Fish and all they do in our community. Take a look.
Oxford Orion Fish is celebrating 50 years of serving neighbors in need in Oxford, Lake Orion, Addison, and Oakland Township. The food pantry serves almost 2,000 households every year, which equates to over 4,500 individuals with almost 200,000 pounds of food going out the door. The pantry adapted to get through the COVID pandemic, but now inflation is taking its toll. The high cost of groceries and rent is affecting clients and donations.
You know, it tends to ebb and flow. There were months when donations are down, and then we look back and think, well, you know, food prices are high. But then the next month, you know, donations will be up again, food and monetary donations. So it just sort of ebbs and flows. I think our community is cognizant of the fact that prices are up, so maybe we can give a little more, knowing that, you know, Oxford Orion Fish is a big part of this community. I think they're well aware that, you know, we're affected too, so they do give, if that makes sense.
Yeah. With inflation, do you find that there's more of a need? Do you find that affects clients coming in?
Yes. I know I had one just the other day saying her rent went way up and her, subsidies that she gets for food went way down. So she stopped me at the door. She said, I don't know what we would do without you guys to bridge that gap. So they are being affected.
Following the holidays, donations get a little light during the first quarter of the year. That's why ONTV plans its food drive in February every year, and cash donations allow the pantry to purchase meat, dairy, and other perishables.
We always have needs, but we manage to fill it, and we get a lot of monetary donations too, so then we can purchase whatever we don't get in. And Forgotten Harvest has been huge right now. They're delivering us a lot of really great products that we wouldn't be able to have. Produce, meats, a lot of fun stuff.
Everyone from board members to staff volunteers their time, and they depend on community groups and individuals to help keep the shelves stocked.
Without the community support, it would be a completely different thing here. I mean, we're well known in the community, so they donate money, they donate food, they participate in the food drives, they put it in our drop box. When we have special events, they'll sign up, like we were just talking about, to see if they can come help at a sorting thing after a food drive. Our community is huge, and they also know about us, so they can spread the word if they, find someone who might be struggling, or a neighbor's, child or whatever, and they call here and get them in, and so just the whole network is wonderful.
If you or someone you know is currently facing hardships, don't hesitate to seek out help. Using the food pantry services is like taking a trip to the corner grocery store.
I would say call, make an appointment, and come in. I mean, people come in for the first time and they're just wowed about, wow, this isn't what I expected. Or they've been to another food pantry where they just get a box of food. So we take them all through, we'll take you through. You can choose what you want for your family. We'll give you a card. You'll know exactly how much you can get. We found it's a very friendly atmosphere here. Once people have told us before, the first time was hard to come in, but now we just love it. You guys are so kind. It's not intimidating. We don't feel less than. So, yeah, we think we're doing it good.
For more information or to volunteer your time, call 248-628-3933 or visit oxfordorionfish.org.
All right, great video, details about Fish, the organization, all they do for their clients and the community at large. They've been around a long time helping residents in need in Oxford, Orion, Addison, Oakland townships. We've been telling you time and again, the shelves need to be restocked. So the ONTV van's available all this week to drop off your physical donations. And we need more of those. We haven't had that many donations, the physical donations this year. We're working on that. So can you help us out? I hope you can. The cash donations have been coming in. We're about $9,200 collected so far from our sponsors and individual donors around the community. So we're getting there. And we're helping Fish every way we can on this 14th annual Food and Fun Drive for that organization. Okay, so Joe slid over to our secondary stage with a very special guest from Fish. Take it away, Joe.
Thanks, Ian. And I'm here with Michelle Boehm, El Presidente, president of Fish, celebrating 50 years of serving the community. Tell us about the history of Fish.
It's amazing. We're starting our 51st year. We started out in the basements of people's homes,
Wow.
making phone calls and giving small donations wherever was possible, and they did a lot of other things. We've slowly transitioned into just food only. We tried doing a few other areas, but really the need ever since the COVID and the pandemic, it's been overwhelming. During the pandemic, you'd have thought we were busy and we weren't.
Yeah.
Now the needs are amazing. People got used to those stimulus checks. They were taken away. There are a lot of issues with daycare and child care, so people can't work as much. And the obvious food prices. You go to the grocery
Right.
store, you see the increase, and it is just amazing that we are truly overwhelmed. That now when you can actually come in and shop, the needs are just. We can't even express that how bad the donations are. And when you look at our shelves, you think, oh, they're so full, it's so great. But we're serving more people than we ever have before. So those donations are dropping so quickly that it looks like the pantry's full, and then by the end of that shift, we are just completely empty. In fact, we had a wonderful group from Paint Creek that came in on Monday, and I was a little embarrassed because our refrigerator section, there was no bread, there was no milk, it was empty. And I had to explain to the children that it will all be full on Tuesday morning for those Tuesday clients. But usually over the weekend, we would still have quite a few options. And there's just nothing because everybody is just taking everything. We're double booking, we're having to triple book and just meet the needs. But what's so wonderful is this community. You don't realize it until you're in it, and I've kind of been splitting my time between North Carolina and here, and you don't realize that the other food pantries in other areas, there's nothing like this area, and it's because of the people in Oxford, the people in Orion, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, and I always call it my second home. I don't consider the pantry is my second home. Everybody that sets foot in the pantry is a guest in my home, and that's how we treat everybody. And that's why it was nice even to see the commercials running. That's how Sue Black had said that's how the clients feel, and that's how we want them to feel.
Yeah.
I was just there before stepping in here, and it was the new clients coming in. It was like, welcome to the family. They had little children, and one it was going to be their birthday in 2 days. And we want to just everybody to feel like, you're a guest in our home, and we all need help at one time or another. And that's what is so beautiful is this community always rises to the occasion.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful home. I remember going out to a little place on the northern part of Oxford where you distributed food, and when it would snow, it was kind of hard to access that building. Now you have this centrally located, beautiful place. And you know what? I was telling someone about it just the other day, And the way it's set up where families can come in and shop like they're at the grocery store, their reaction was, well, that helps maintain their dignity, which I thought was a great way of putting it, that it's like going to your corner grocery store and picking up things that you need.
Yes, that is the big thing, the dignity and the respect. They're not, I mean, I don't begrudge, some pantries, that's how they have to handle things, just giving people a quick box, and we do have the emergency box, but we really want them to feel like it's just a beautiful shopping experience.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. We have a beautiful building. People are able to pick and choose whatever they want, and that's how we want it to feel. It's a very, it's a sense of community. And that is the big goal there, is we don't, nobody wants to have to ask for help, but at some point in time, everybody needs to ask for help.
Yeah.
And that's how we want people to feel welcome there. And I think, like Sue had said, we do a pretty good job, and we really do try to, because we genuinely care. We're all volunteers. We run completely on donations, so everybody wants to be there. They want to help, and
Yeah.
it's a beautiful place.
You touched on, the effects of inflation. We talked about it in that video piece, that inflation is not only affecting donations, but the clients that are coming in are sharing their experiences with how inflation is affecting them. And it's not just food prices. Sue mentioned that a client had come in and said that rents are skyrocketing, which I'm a renter, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who can relate to that. So you combine the rising cost of food, rents going up, it is a tough time for families whose salaries aren't keeping pace.
No, and that's what we're really seeing, is that we tried to kind of, the pantry's kind of been geared as far as time slots, and our amount for our budget kind of capped it off at about 200 families, 225 families. The difference is our average family last year, 2 years ago, was a family of 4. Now they're a family of 6 and 8.
Ooh.
And I'll get phone calls all the time. Oh my gosh, Michelle, do you know what size this family is? Are you sure? And I said, well, you think about it. Like you said, the rent is so high that, now they have their aunts and their uncles, maybe, a family member. So these families of 4 are now families of 6 and 8.
Yeah.
And so that's another challenge that we've had, that, we want to meet, because we don't want anybody going without. So that's just been one more additional, hurdle that we've had to get over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the holidays have come and gone, and I know people are generous over the holidays. There's that spirit of giving, but that only goes so far. And then the post office food drive is in May, the Stamp Out Hunger food drive. So there's a number of months where those donations aren't coming in like they did over the holidays.
Yes. And it is, and even through the holidays, we were a little concerned, because they were a lot lower than normal in the beginning. But you understood, because I go to the grocery store, you're seeing everybody else, they're kind of feeling that pinch, and you have to be able to take care of your own family. So you really saw that dip, which was, we had a couple of concerning months, October, November, when it was drastic differences, and we were kind of like, okay, what are we going to do in this situation? But that end of the year, I think that generosity kind of was able to flourish through, which was wonderful. And the Meyer Simply Give program is really kind of helps us a lot. But like I've talked to Tracy several times, like you said, we've got that lull period. And this program it's just been overwhelming. I always tell her, I said, ONTV is that week telethon that gives throughout the year. That people see that, and then it's like, okay, well, you know what, I could adopt a shelf. And then there's the challenges that go on that Chris Barnett had started a couple of years ago, that people remember that, okay, well, I want to help out. And that's what happens, and then it's kind of that snowball effect, that we get these donations that just continue. And it's so wonderful to be like, oh, how did you hear about us? Well, on TV.
That's
so then you
awesome.
think that this one little week, the benefit and the change that we feel for those other 51 weeks out of the year, because of this one week, and it's the dedication of your entire team, and it's such a blessing to us. It's overwhelming that people think, oh, you know what, and even then it's like, okay, I couldn't make it that week, but you know what, next week I came in, gave a couple of cans because of what I
That's
saw this
great.
week. It's wonderful.
That's awesome. Now, our food drive over the last few years has shifted from people bringing in groceries to making monetary donations. And something that I witnessed last week when I was at Fish is Ron Wood, one of your volunteers. He kind of assessed the needs there, the fresh produce and gaps on the shelf, and he disappeared, came back from Meyer, And it was the cash donations that allowed him to specifically target areas that were light. And so talk about what monetary donations mean to Fish.
Those monetary donations are just, they're overwhelming because then, like you said, we have those specific needs. And one of the blessings that we have in our pantry is we have Ron Wood. And there is nobody that is a better shopper than he is. I always tell people, you donate $1 to us, he's going to turn it into $1.25. Okay, with the time difference, you know, and the economy, I'll still say $1.05, $1.10. He's that good. So then he's able to pinpoint those specific things that we need. And then even when we have like our Meijer gift cards that we can only buy food, if there's something, we like to be able to supply detergents, toiletries. That's something that a lot of people don't realize, that clients that have the bridge card, you cannot buy toilet paper. Some of those basic things that you need. So we want to be able to function as a grocery store, so that we want our clients to be able to have the dignity of having detergent, dish soap, toothpaste, toothbrushes. Those are things that we think are so basic that when you have clients coming in that, you know, I haven't been able to run a load of wash in a week, my kids don't have a toothbrush. And those are things that really happen in this area. And I think people just don't realize that the needs, and they're very basic, but they're very real. And those dollar donations are able to supplement every little thing. And like I said, we're very, very blessed that we don't have any overhead. All of those costs are covered by a donor. So every dollar that you give to us goes to something that is for a client. It isn't going, there are no salaries. It's not going to a utility bill. It is going to the client.
That's so great. Speaking of monetary donations, we have something exciting that's shaping up in our lobby. So we're going to throw it to Ian, and we have a fun surprise coming up.
All right, thank you, Joe. Great interview, great details about Fish and all they do for our community and the struggles they have throughout the year. As the director was saying, or the president was saying, the money lasts, right? ONTV's here. This is a very important week. They can strategically purchase the items they need, and we can see, sorry, we had an overhead shot of our totals. Let's do that again. Again, taking direction on a live TV. Here we go. Here's our collection totals, $9,200, as we transition out to the lobby for a very exciting presentation coming up momentarily. Our number, that 92, I have a feeling is going to go way higher in just a few moments. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for donating. Thank you for joining us here on this live 12 to 2. And on the sports special programming day, don't forget to tune in to tonight for special game presentations. We're going to do a live podcast as well after this presentation in the lobby to close out our 1 o'clock hour. And we have some good news that the Lake Orion Lady Dragons won their varsity basketball game that we carried live at 7 to 9 yesterday. So go Dragons, congratulations. And now, are we ready? We're going to toss it out to Joe, who's all set up in the lobby with our special guest with Fish.
Guests joining us from the VFW, and they have an awesome presentation that they want to make. Jim Hubbard, you're the post commander, 334. Tell us what's happening here.
Well, we like to support our community, that's for sure. And normally we sponsor one shelf. This year we decided to continue with 2 shelves. So the donation is needed. Our community, we love supporting them, and it's just what we do.
That's awesome. Tell us about the Adopt a Shelf program.
The Adopt a Shelf program is any organization, we even have families that want to pick up a specific item that they want to adopt throughout the year, and we generally say it's about $100 a month. And most people then will, they'll adopt the shelf, and they'll either supply themselves or they'll give us a $100 check. The VFW gentlemen are extremely generous, and they give us the full amount right from the beginning, so we can kind of even shop a little better when the sales come. This is really kind of an extraordinary thing that they do, because they're just amazing people. I get very choked up, because out of all the wonderful people I get to meet, this is by far my #1 favorite, moment in the day, because these gentlemen just are an absolute overwhelming. I'm just so honored to be in the middle of the 2 of them. Yes.
What are the shelves you've adopted? One of them is sauce.
Sauces, and I don't know what our second shelf was.
You know what the second one is? Is it soups?
I was going to say, I think it was the soups. We've kind of moved it around. They've been so generous that as we've had the needs, that they're just like, whatever we need to do, just do it. Yeah, they're amazing.
Put the money where it's needed. Because
Yeah.
we fully understand what's going on in the community right now, and there's so much need out there that our post decided this year to sponsor 2 shelves to make sure we can help the community as much as we can.
And this is Chuck Haskin here to present the check. So this covers 2 shelves for 12 months for a total of $2,400 that goes to the total.
Overwhelming gift. It's an absolutely overwhelming gift. Yeah, it literally renders me speechless, which my husband can attest does not happen very often. Yeah, these are absolutely wonderful gentlemen that have totally stepped up and just really met the needs of the community. And even when I've met with them, they're always like, is there anything else? Do you know of any veterans? I mean, these guys are literally, they would be on call 24/7 to anything that anybody needs. Yeah, it's a real blessing.
Jim, let me give you an opportunity to promote the VFW. Why does this organization do things like this?
Well, you put me on the spot a little bit here, but we served our time in the service, and we all did what we were told to do, and came back with a big heart. We understood the needs of the community. We just want to fulfill, the camaraderie that we have with all the other organizations too. It's just kind of what we do as veterans. We enjoy that camaraderie. We enjoy challenging other organizations, American Legions, the Eagles, anybody else that would like to step up and help the community. You're welcome to step up and help, But it's just kind of what we do.
That's awesome. Great work in the community. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for this amazing donation. I'm sure it's going to go to good use.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right.
Supporting fish
Yes,
also.
thank you.
Oh, our pleasure.
Oh, absolutely.
ONTV is the gift that keeps on giving.
That's right. I tell that to everybody. All right, we're going to, this food drive wouldn't be possible without those sponsors that make donations that help us achieve our goals. So let's take a look at the sponsors that are giving generously to help us meet our goals.
All of us at ONTV would like to thank our corporate sponsors for their generous donations. Today's portion of the 2024 ONTV Food Drive is brought to you by Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply, located at 719 East Mandolin Avenue in Madison Heights. The family-owned business has been serving the Detroit metro area for over 30 years. Madison Heights Plumbing and Heating Supply is supporting the food drive for a second year and is a 5-day sponsor. In addition to the ONTV Food Drive, they proudly support other charitable events and organizations, such as Toys for Tots, Bottomless Chest, and St. Jude's Children's Hospital. For more information, give them a call at 248-588-4690 or visit their website, MadisonHeightsPlumbingSupply.com. Northern Wholesale Flooring, located at 118 Indianwood Road in Lake Orion. Northern Wholesale Flooring has been an active member of the community for over 38 years. They are a returning partner of the ONTV Food Drive and are a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can visit their website, nflooring.com. Ohana Wealth Advisory. This is Ohana Wealth Advisory's second year supporting the food drive, and they are a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can give them a call at 248-246-8080. Kroger, located at 3097 South Baldwin Road in Orion Township. This year, Kroger is a 5-day sponsor, thanks to a generous $500 donation to the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. For more information about Kroger, visit their website, kroger.com, or give them a call at 248-393-0765. Meyer of Lake Orion, located at 1107 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Meyer is a year-round supporter of the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry, collecting food pantry donations through their Simply Give program. They are a 5-day sponsor of the ONTV food drive with a charitable $500 contribution. For more information, visit their website, Meyer.com. M3 Investments, located at 990 North Main Street in Royal Oak. Having a plan that is designed around your goals and financial situation can help you successfully navigate the risks you are likely to face. Whether you're just starting out, thinking about retirement, or just retired, Christine can help. For more information about M3 Investments, you can give them a call at 248-543-3400. Galling Buick GMC, located at 1491 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Galling is a longtime supporter of the food drive, returning this year as a 5-day sponsor. For more information, you can visit their website at GallingBuickGMC.com. Culver's, located at 4963 Interpark Drive North in Lake Orion. Culver's is a longtime partner with the ONTV food drive and helps to keep our crew fed. For more information about Culver's, you can visit their website, culvers.com. You can also give them a call at 248-276-2222. And by Home Depot, located at 2600 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Home Depot is a longtime sponsor of the ONTV food drive. This year they donated $200 to the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. For more information about Home Depot, take a look at their website, homedepot.com. You can also give them a call at 248-393-9990.
Galling Buick GMC has been serving the Lake Orion community for more than 40 years. We here at ONTV would like to thank them for helping to sponsor our food drive benefiting Oxford Orion Fish. Of course, giving back to the community is not a new concept for the dealership. Galling Buick GMC hosts several car shows throughout the year, with each one helping a different community organization.
We raise money for various charity groups throughout the year. Each show has a charity. This is the Orion Veterans Memorial down here on Lapeer Road, raising money for that memorial today. And throughout the year we pick different charities and we try to mix it up and keep the money in the community. I can tell you that last year with our shows we raised almost $30,000.
This is a community we all live in. And I live here in Lake Orion as well. And it's the community that supports us and our business. We always want to try and give back as best that we can. I'm blessed as far as having great employees and great customers and all the rest, but it's also a blessing to be in a business that can also be considered your hobby and your fun part of it as well, because I love cars.
And every year, Galling Buick GMC hosts Lake Orion's biggest party of the year. The who's who of Lake Orion are invited to come out to the Holly Jolly Folly, a massive fundraiser that helps make the Orion Lighted Parade an annual spectacular that old and young alike look forward to every holiday season.
You know what? It's fun. The bottom line is it's fun, and it's really fun to do things in our community, for our community, and this is really what it's all about, right? It becomes grassroots stuff. The community comes together. And it's really great. And we've been through a couple tough years, and this is a celebration coming out of some of that stuff.
I can't thank John Cooper and Gallings enough. They are not only the presenting sponsor of the parade, they also pay for everything here. So it's a great event. I know John Cooper loves to do it, and we love having it here, and the family here at Gallings. I mean, we couldn't have done it without them. I mean, we had our oil change kids, our mechanics, guys in the body shop. We're all here today setting up, tearing down, cleaning up. Can't have enough help from the Italian Gardens. They're doing a great job. So we love it, and we love doing it here at Gallings. So it's my Galling cap. As far as I know, we're going to be doing this for a while.
For more information, visit GallingBuickGMC.com. And again, we'd like to thank them for helping to support the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry.
Here's your host, Sammy Taramina.
Welcome to OA Now here on Sammy Taramina, blogger around the OA, the host of Last Week Brain Cells, host of Between Terminas on Orion Television. I'd like to welcome those on the local voice on SoundCloud. And we got Ian Locke back here.
Yes.
So how have you been?
How long has it been, dude? Long time.
It's been a long time. I know it's been since football season.
Football. Yeah, I did sit in on a couple football.
Of course.
Because football is king. We know that.
We know that.
And we have a good time talking about football.
We're getting in the heart of basketball season. Of course, districts are starting to come up, so we're going to talk that.
Which is wild. I mean, how fast did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Before we start digging into some details, Sammy, tell people at home, because we are live right now on ONTV, on Comcast Channel 10, AT&T Uverse Channel 99, and across the world on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire, and on Facebook Live.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about your podcast. Tell everybody what OAA Now is about.
Well, my podcast here, OA Now, it's basically we talk high school sports. We basically ranges from Oxford down to Harper Woods. I mean, like that is our, because that's where the OAA is. Of course, all 24 members of the league. Obviously, we will talk other teams as well. But our main focus is the teams ranging from Oxford down to Harper Woods. So that's really where the heart of the OAA is at.
And the great thing about your podcast, now we were talking like we always do before we go live. The content that you cover you've been doing it since 17? We tried to add it up. And Sammy is a volunteer. You've been with us from the old studio.
Yep.
So we're 12 years into this studio. So you're about 13 years with ONTV and myself, right?
Yep.
We've known each other a long time.
Long time.
And you always challenge us. You and your brother always challenge us. Say,
and also Ian Witherspoon.
And Witherspoon. You go, hey, I want to do a podcast. And we're like, oh, geez, we don't have that set up. How are we going to do that? So we figured it out. Sammy is the first to ever do a podcast. And then it balloons into this whole setup we have here for the community, right? So an idea from Sammy to go, I've got something to say.
Of course. Well, I always have a lot to say.
You
know
do.
What I mean? I will even bash people. I remember a couple of years ago when you and I both bashed Joe Thermo. What happened to them?
You bash a lot. I stand back and try to say, easy, Sammy, easy. But we have a good time, and that's the beauty of this podcast. That's the beauty of ONTV and community media, that you can come in, you get an idea, and then it flourishes into, look at all this equipment and hardware, and you can get your message out. Anybody can do a podcast, right?
Sure,
How hard is it? Is it easy?
It's not as easy as you think it is. Because
no, wrong answer. It's supposed to be super simple.
Supposed to be. But, you just got to get your mind. You got to get your ideas.
Correct.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say.
Correct. No, you're right. And as we know, this is the 14th annual food drive for fish, right? We're about $9,200 in cash collected, which is amazing. We just had a check presentation for $2,400 from the VFW guys. They are amazing, and that's really pushing our cash totals up. Sammy, we're going to do some housekeeping, and why don't you read one of the promos there for, not promos, but one of the housekeeping items we have.
As the cold weather months set in, the needs of fish also change. Here's a brief list of items that you can donate that will help. You got stews and meal prep mixes like Hamburger Helper, canned fruits like pineapple and mandarin oranges, canned meats and chili, ketchup and mustard are always in need as well. Soaps and shampoo are also in need.
Yes. And toothpaste, toothbrushes, we heard it. Right?
Yep.
Even school supplies. They're looking for school supplies as well. And how can you donate? We have a variety of ways to donate. You can do it online. Head on over to orionontv.org, and you can donate at our website. You click on the Food Drive logo, and it'll take you right to our charity GoFundMe, and you can donate. Don't worry. 100% of all donations go to Fish, and since Fish is a 501c3 charity, they are tax deductible. If you don't want to do it online, and we have cameras all over. It's kind of weird. If you don't want to do it online, you can also come to the studio at 1349 Joslin Road at the Orion Center. You can donate right right here. Hand it to the staff, and we'll get all those donations right to those in need. And if you want to donate some physical food items, non-perishable food items, make sure they're not expired, they're not open, they're not rusty, they're not crazy. We want to have good items to donate to Fish for those in need and they're hungry. Fulfill our production van. And we need more physical donations right now, more than ever. And we have Jenny Body from Township also joining us here in the studio. We're going live, I think, on Facebook. Is this where we're at? She's crashing our podcast, but people at home can't hear you because the mic isn't on. But we were live, Sammy, with Jenny and the crew over at the Great Lakes Athletic Club. Have you been in there?
I am not.
It is amazing. You should get your butt over there. But yeah, so we're going to talk some OA sports. So this podcast, Sammy, you've been around forever. I sat in with you. It has a weekly listenership. A lot of people tune in. You even have coaches interviews.
Yep, we do. We've talked to a lot of coaches. I mean, ranging from football coaches, especially when you look at we've talked to the two state championship coaches. Coach Aaron Marshall is no longer at A&T, now at Birmingham Brother Rice. And also Coach Rob Oden, the coach at Harper Woods, we talked about as well. We talked to a lot of coaches. We're going to have we're going to keep talking to coaches this summer, seeing how everybody's doing. I mean,
those interviews, dude, are awesome. They're in-depth. They're interviews that you're not going to get anywhere else.
No.
Right? And they know you.
Yep, they know me really well.
Right?
I mean,
and you are a champion of high school sports, and what I love about the way Sammy interviews people, you never hold back, dude.
No.
He goes, why is your defense so bad? I mean, you give up 150 points or a lot more than that, or 40 points a game, and I think the coaches appreciate that.
And I think really when you look at it, when you talk to coaches, you got to know what's going on. I mean, obviously, we have a lot of positives this year. You look at Pontiac football this year.
Yes.
They won their first game in a long while when they knocked out Madison Heights Bishop Foley. I mean, you look at, of course, they went 3-6 this year. I mean,
awesome.
I'm telling you, I really like where the direction of the Phoenix are going.
Yep.
You look at, of course, we've had some playoff wins, some controversies, obviously, of course, going to go there. But obviously, when you look at the state of the OA right now, I think especially when you look at sports right now, I mean, you got a team that is capable enough to win a Division I state championship in West Bloomfield. We've also had the defending Division II state champions in boys basketball in Ferndale.
Yep.
It's and then of course football with A&T and Harper Woods winning Division I and Division IV championships.
Football, yeah, and you say it. We've said it all along. It's been this way for years and years. The OAA is one of the toughest athletic conferences in the state of Michigan.
They are.
The quality of the coaching, the quality of the players, the performances. The OAA is always challenging for a state title.
It is difficult when you really look at, of course, I look at a team, perfect example is Team Path, Harper Woods. You look at, of course, they were an independent before they came in the league. Then they go and play in the white this year. And then, when you look at the playoff path, they went through Croswell Lex. They went through Marysville, had a knockout Carlton Airport. And then, of course, they got into the semifinals, had to knock off a very good Goodrich team. And then got in the state finals and knocked out Grand Rapids South Christian. Now, Grand Rapids South Christian is kind of funny with them because their record against the OAA in football and boys basketball this year, the last 2 years, 0-3. I mean,
really?
They lost to West Bloomfield in a classic as well. And then you had the two state championships, lost to Ferndale, and then, of course, the loss to Harper Woods. Yeah. So Grand Rapids South Christian's not fared really well against the OAA.
There are a lot of teams that
especially a lot of teams have fared well against this league.
I was just going to say that because, sometimes when you get in the playoffs, the west side of the state in certain instances can dominate. We've seen that. It ebbs and flows. You never know.
Look at Rockford, obviously, it's one of those
always
teams.
A power.
Rockford's always a power. But then now you look at, of course, you look at Grand Rapids South Christian. They're one of the most dominant teams in the state as well in the west side. I mean, the west side's had, but when they ran in the OAA, I mean, obviously, lately the OAA has really they've had a great, great, it's been really strong.
They're knocking off traditional powers that we've seen who have been dominant for years and years out of league, right? And it makes for great conversation and great podcast
content.
A&T's
win against Belleville was huge, you know what I mean?
And that blew my mind because how many years have we been talking about, it's A&T's year?
Southfield
lot,
A&T,
a
it's
long
their
time.
year,
I
and
mean-
then they just fall flat. They
Well,
didn't.
they're running into West Bloomfield, obviously as well. I mean, knocking them off was huge. West Bloomfield, has been a well-established program. You look at, of course, the teams in the OA Red, you know what I mean? Especially when you look at teams like Clarkston, Lake
Yeah.
Orion, Oxford, Rochester, Adams.
Yeah.
I mean, those are not easy teams. And then we mentioned West Bloomfield. They're not easy teams. So when you really look at the scenario of, of that division,
Yeah.
especially the red, and then you look at the improvement of the white, you look at a team like Groves is up there, you look at Seaholm, you look at Harper Woods, I mean, those type of teams, and then you look at Avondale. Avondale, won their first playoff game, I think, since 2011, when they knocked
And we've been talking about Avondale,
Yeah.
too, saying when are they going to show up, and they
Yep,
did.
and they did under Coach Bob Meyer. Done a really nice job. For Avondale, it's just for them taking that next step, and can they make that next step?
Yeah.
That's gonna be the question for Avondale going forward there in the on the gridiron
And talking, football, we could talk football
all day.
all day.
Got
because
basketball as well.
There's so many moving parts to that. Coaching changes,
Mhm.
personnel changes, just the makeup of the different divisions, and we can go on and on. It's just really rich with content and stuff to chat about.
Oh yeah.
Let's look at, we're in the middle, in the heart of the basketball season.
Yep.
Where's the OAA sitting right now in basketball?
Well, when you look at, let's go girls first because we're ladies first. I mean,
yeah, Lady Dragons
when
were
you look at
victorious last night.
Lake Orion was victorious, but this is a team that still has offensive struggles. And really, when you look at the questions that Lake Orion faces is, and obviously it's the transition defense has been the big problem in this six game slide.
Yeah, it's
and in scoring.
Yeah.
That's been a big issue as well. I mean,
Yeah.
this team has not been the same team they ran to West Bloomfield.
no.
Now, West Bloomfield is a juggernaut. You know what I mean? When you look at them.
What are, if for the viewers and listeners, if you've not seen the women's West Bloomfield varsity squad, it is something to behold.
Mm-hmm.
The talent on that team is, I haven't seen anything like that in a number
Since Southfield Lathrop.
long.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
Southfield Lathrop. And
exactly.
We know under Coach Michelle Marshall, those teams are
dominant.
Coach Jared McAllister's team has done really, really well
Yeah.
this year. And obviously, you had both Davis sisters. They're both going to Georgia next year. You got Kendall
Loaded.
Hendricks. You got Sheridan Beal. You got Ava Lord, Destiny Washington.
Loaded.
That team is loaded. And they just picked up their first loss of the year on Saturday to Anthony Wayne, Ohio, who's one of the top-ranked teams in the state. They lost that one by 12.
In Ohio.
In Ohio.
Right.
They lost at home by 12. So when you really look at West Bloomfield, though, they're offensive. They're hungry too. I mean, let's not forget this team lost to Rockford last year in the state final. So
Yes.
so when you look at West Bloomfield, they're the team to beat. There's a reason why they're one of the top teams in the state of Michigan. They're a scary group.
And they look every bit of it. It's
Yep.
not just, some teams are having a down night. No, they will make you have a down night. And if you're not ready, like we were saying in their transition game, they will shred you.
Yep. And obviously they run that press. They run a full court trap, which is
A lot
it's
of
just
teams.
nasty.
We've seen a
It
lot
is
of teams
nasty.
cave.
But if you get by that press, who knows?
Well, you have to.
Mhm.
And it is easier said than
It's
done.
easier said than done, but West Bloomfield, honestly, they're one of the best teams in the state of Michigan right now. Daryl McAllister's done a really nice job with that team.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a really great job with that team.
So let's look at, we know who number one.
Yeah.
Who's 1A? Is there a 1A? Is there any? It's just
Nobody's touching West Bloomfield.
night and day.
Night
ahead.
and day. I mean, honestly, you look at if several teams, you got Stony Creek is probably, I think, but Stony Creek, they've got some flaws as well under first-year coach Columbus Williams. I mean, they got some flaws. I
Yeah.
mean, you look at, Rochester, they got some flaws as well. I mean, guard play, big-time question with Alice Max and Kylie Robinson.
Yeah.
Oxford, we know.
Yeah, let's talk about the Wildcats.
Oxford's an interesting team because they got Mia Champagne, who's emerged as a freshman, who's playing solid for them. But everything starts and ends with them with their with Allison Hofstadler and Peyton Rick. I mean, you really look, and also you got Sophia Robb on that team. I mean, Oxford, they got experience, but the question for me is, with them is life in the red. You know what I mean? I mean, who would ever thought, Oxford, they're holding their own in this division. They're holding their own. And I think when you look at Oxford right now, for them, it's just about district for them because I'm not being mean to Coach Rachel Breyer's team.
Yeah.
But they got a chance, I think, to win their district this year. I mean,
well, let's share the makeup of that district if that's the case.
they're going to be over at Lapeer for their district, District 32. You got Davison, Grand Blanc, Lapeer, and Holly in there. When you look at that district, they've already beaten Davison earlier in the year. I think they're a better team than Lapeer is, and I think they're better than Holly.
So you think they can take it?
I think they got a shot. They just got to get by Grand Blanc, and Grand Blanc's been their kryptonite the last 3 years. And when you really look at, and Grand Blanc, they got a new coach this year. I know it's R.J. Taylor's grandfather's the head coach over there, and they got a good player over there. They got a couple good players on that team, and Grand Blanc, they're a solid team. But I think when you look at this district here, I think Oxford's got a shot at it. I think they got a great chance here. I think life in the red's going to help them here. And I think, the experience is going to help.
I'm glad you say that because we've talked about it. Over the years, regular season difficulties in the red can pay off in the playoffs.
Yes.
Because you are battle tested week in, week out, day
and
after
Oxford
day.
needs to be in this division because they're battle tested. I mean, you really look at the OA Red and girls basketball. It is difficult night in, night out. It is difficult. I mean, Lake Orion right now is in the cellar in the division right now. But, if they get their act together, watch out.
Yeah. And we can talk about the Lady Dragons and their defensive woes, and they've had issues scoring. That wasn't the case at the start of the year. They were really solid.
Playing team ball. I mean, really, that's been the thing for Lake Orion. It's they got to get back that team ball game. Yeah. Their district looks very winnable. I mean, honest, it's the same district as last year, but it's at Waterford Mott. You got Clarkson, Pontiac, Waterford Kettering, Waterford Mott. Very winnable district. But
are Waterford, Mott, and Kettering what they used to be? Kettering used to be very strong.
They're not the same teams they used to be. But when you look at Clarkston this year, and Clarkston's had some games where they look good. They had some games they're not so good. Obviously, Eliana Roback, you have Brooklyn Colbert's really emerged. Emmy Valencia, Ella Morgner's been really good for Coach Aaron Goodnow. I mean, you really look at that Clarkson team. I mean, they did beat Lake Orion earlier in the year. It was a high-scoring game. I mean, it was 60 to 48. That was that score of that game. Whoa. So, so when you really look at
they can put it in.
They can put it in. I mean, both teams, those two teams are going to likely play two more times. I mean, they got one at Lake Orion, and then, of course, you have the district most likely be in the district final. So, I expect, when you look at the district, how it's going to look like, I think both Lake Orion and Clarkson are going to be seated in this district.
Okay. Before we move on to the guys and talk about the men's basketball and all that, let's talk about fish a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The ONTV Food Drive 14th Annual, this special podcast live on Comcast Channel 10 here, Orion Neighborhood Television going live in the community. I don't know if I need to readjust my camera. There we go. Looks like he was drifting a little bit. But yeah, we're here live in the podcast studio. The ONTV podcast studio has been around for about 6 years now, I believe. Sammy's taken well advantage. You do a weekly podcast here, OA Now, all things high school sports. But let's talk about the food drive. We're here to support the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry. Head on over to orionontv.org right now to donate. Click on that food drive logo, and you can donate at our charity GoFundMe. And if you want to drop off a check or cash, I mean, we've had donations as little as $10, as high as $5,000.
That's a lot of money. You know what I mean?
It is.
That's
and
a lot of money.
As we heard earlier in our 12 to 2, when we were interviewing the president of Fish, she was talking about the importance of those dollars and how far they can be used throughout the year. And if you want to, like you said, we can donate in person, so you don't have to worry about those online fees being taken out for those credit card donations.
And it's very important also, you know what I mean, to help in the community. You know what I mean? It's really important.
Absolutely. And we just heard something, too, that snacks in the schools, Fish is sponsoring snacks for kids. So if you get hungry during the day, they're looking to try to support snacks for the kids to get them. If you're a little bit hungry as the day rolls along, you can get something to fill your belly up, keep your mind straight and ready to learn. So, yep, that's why we're here. It's the food drive. So far collected $92
$300 plus $2,400 from the VFW guys, which is amazing. I think that's $1,000 or $1,200 more than last year.
That's good.
So that is amazing. All right. So, yes, food drive girls on. Let's get into varsity boys basketball.
This is interesting because when you look at the league here, you got the defending Division II state champions in Ferndale in this.
Yes.
You got the North Farmington Raiders, well coached under Coach Todd Negoshin. They're just coming off a loss to West Bloomfield. West Bloomfield has really improved. Clarkson's been up and down, which has been really odd.
Which is
it's
completely strange from
completely
historical
strange,
averages,
especially
right?
with historical averages. Last year they struggled a little bit. This year they're really struggling. They're 8-9 this year. I don't know why.
Whoa.
And then you look at the Troy Colts and the White. Right now you got Lake Orion's a team that been up and down. You look at Troy Athens is another one that's been up and down. Same as Harper Woods.
No
Seahawks.
clear dominant.
Well, when
team,
you look at this conference, I think Harper Woods right now. I'm sorry, no, take it back. North Farmington right now, I would say right now is probably the best team right now. But West Bloomfield's right there in the thick of it. Troy, I would put in there in that discussion as well with the way that team's been playing. They've won 15 straight games.
Whoa.
They ride a three-headed monster of John Whiteside, Mason Parker, and Chase Kuiper for legendary coach Gary Freilich. And then you look at in the blue, you got Avondale, who's been right now riding all cylinders. Oxford's right behind them. So is Berkeley. In that division, Stony Creek's been playing much better.
So do you feel like anybody can beat anybody on any night?
It can happen,
Or
yes.
is there a clear, you got a collection of teams that are kind of, usually
In
every
the
year
White,
you
there
get an
is-
idea,
yeah.
and again, it's scheduling, right?
It
Sometimes
comes down to scheduling, and obviously when you look at, the red right now, and you look at West Bloomfield, they were in the white last year, shared the title with Groves, and now they're up in the red. And West Bloomfield,
how have they responded?
They responded really well. Obviously, it helps when you have a transfer and Drew Wilson come up from Bloomfield Hills, and really been beneficial to add to a loaded lineup that Coach Arnett Jordan has. And you look at West Bloomfield, they were struggling earlier in the year, and now they're playing some of their best basketball. And when you look at their district, they're with Orchard Lake St. Mary's and Wall Lake Central. And I'll tell you what, I think West Bloomfield's got a shot at St. Mary's. That says something right there. I am putting in a bold pick right now. Coach Jordan's probably gonna probably say, man, you're killing me right now, man.
So, if you're new to OAA now and Sammy's pod, he likes to bring these little nuggets up.
Yep.
Right? So, you are not shy about bold predictions.
I am not shy about bold predictions. I have 2 bold predictions right now.
Okay.
I think West Bloomfield has a chance to get it done against Orchard Lake St. Mary's, but here's my bold projection.
Bold.
Here's my bold projection.
Okay.
I think the Troy Colts win their district against Birmingham Brother Rice. I'm calling it right now.
You heard that. You heard it right.
I'm calling it right now.
It is what's the date? The 7th of February.
I'm calling it right now.
1:47 p.m. Sammy called.
I cannot trust Birmingham Brother Rice right now. Yes, they're playing okay basketball. They're in the Catholic League, but I just can't trust the Warriors with the way that team's been playing right now. And when I look at Troy,
so if that's the case, where are they going to be playing?
They're going to be playing at Troy Athens in their district. So so that'll be very interesting to see. I just think
bold prediction.
Yeah, I'm calling it right now. I'm honest with you.
Okay, let's take it.
I'm honest with you, right? All right. So when I look at, and then we have.
You had 2 bold predictions. What's your second one?
I just said it. West Bloomfield has a shot at Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
Okay.
And then when you look at the local communities in the districts, Lake Orion and Oxford.
Yeah.
Oxford's in a very tough district. In District 27 at Grand Blanc, you got Grand Blanc, Davison, Lapeer, and Holly.
See, on paper, that is just bad.
It's brutal. It's bad for Oxford. Really bad. And when you look at Oxford, obviously with Jake Champagne, who's going to be the Robin on that team? You got Luke Stoffin's been there. Drew and Jay Katie's there. They got others on that team for Coach Joe Fachorik. You really look at, and then you look at that district and you say to yourself, I'm staring at Davis in the face. That's a brutal matchup.
Yeah.
I'm staring at Grand Blanc in the face. That's brutal. I mean, Grand Blanc started here 0-5. They turned things around quick.
Whoa.
Holly is a team that really, they're the defending Foot Metro League champions. Well coached under Coach Steve DeHart. Has Kavion Smith and Anthony Simmons is back healthy. That's scary right there. And Lapeer, we know, is no easy team right there. So Oxford's going to have it really difficult in their district. I don't know. It would be something if they can get to the district final, but I just don't know.
So
if
you're saying
I don't see them get by 3 teams right now.
So you're saying the top is district finals for Oxford?
I think the top for them is district. I don't know if I see them. I think they're playing first day. I really do. I think they're playing first day.
First? Really?
I think they're playing first day because, you're looking at because Davison we know is very good. Grand Blanc's very good. Holly we know is very good. I mean, like, it's going to be a tall order for Coach Fed at Oxford to go deep into the postseason round. And then Lake Orion's case, they're at
Where are we at?
for Kettering.
Oh, we talked. Okay, so the guys and girls are at the same location?
No, they're at girls are at Mott, boys are at Kettering.
Kettering. Okay.
And it's the same teams plus Aberdale. So in this district, this district here,
I think it might be wide open, don't you think?
It is wide open. I mean, like, considering the early favorite has to be Waterford Mott, considering what they got. Clarkston, you can't trust them. I'm sorry. I mean, I know they just lost in double overtime to Groves, but it's hard for me to trust Coach Tim Wasilek right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I called him out 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago on my podcast, and they have not. They've been up and down, and that's a problem. I mean, they got some good players: Cole Charter, Peyton Fitzsimmons.
Mm-hmm.
Avondale's a team that's well improved under first-year coach Jared Thomas. Of course, we know Thomas's history was at Adams.
Yep.
Pontiac, well improved under Coach Andrew Myers. They have a very good they're playing. I mean, they have Jeremiah Claudio, Travion Peters, and then you have and then of course Waterford Mott right now, obviously the favorite right now. Well coached Coach Jeff Jason. Lake Orion's got a shot. I mean, they got a shot. I mean, you got players like Zach Parks, Ryan Lushlow, Gabe Scott. And I think if Ethan Sharkey gets going, look out. I mean, I think this team can be really dangerous come postseason time.
So, my question again, the top, Lake Orion's top. What do you think? Finals?
I think they got a better chance. Yeah, I think they got a better chance here. I think they can win it. I really do. I think they got a shot at it.
So, if you were going to pick who's in the finals that they would go against,
if it's Lake Orion,
yeah,
Waterford Mott.
Okay,
Waterford Mott. I mean, like, I can't trust Clarkston, even with the history that they have right now. It's hard for me to trust them.
So, and you saying that kind of, I sit here and go, wow, because we know the history of Clarkston. It's been so
they won
dominant
district championships. They've been dominant against Lake Orion
for decades.
Sometimes records have to change.
Absolutely, and
sometimes things change.
And we've seen that over with the Wolves.
And Lake Orion's a very young team too.
Yeah.
And and I think Waterford Mott right now, this is the time for them to break forward when you look at the Corsair.
Wow. So that was a lot there, Sam. So Lake Orion men varsity have a shot to take it. The Lake Orion the Lady Dragons, you think?
They got a shot.
They have a shot, and that's all you're asking for. But they have some, like you said,
they can win their third straight, but they got to get by Clarkson.
But they also need to straighten out their
defensive woes and their offensive woes,
which is a lot to overcome.
They got players. Izzy Walensky's one of them. Nevaeh Wood. You got Charlotte Poplowski.
That's true.
I mean, like, it just comes down to can they get everything set before March starts.
All right. So I think we only have, I don't know, three odd minutes left here for our live food drive special. Let's just remind all of our viewers, be sure to donate to the food drive. We're looking to fill our production van, 1349 Joslyn Road. Bring those donations out today to help restock those shelves at Fish. Now more than ever, we're looking for those donations to carry Fish and the food pantry over to their next food drive beyond ours. So our food drive, once we bring everything together and deliver it to Fish, that's the money, that's the food donations. These resources only last for a couple of weeks because of the demand
at Fish for those who are in need.
And I think, you're looking at everything that's going on right now, the economy and all that. It's rough,
It is.
It is rough.
And we talked about that. Rent's going up. Food prices have gone up. The
I
good
do
thing,
not know why.
well, it's a mystery. We're scratching our head going, record profits. Oh, but that's another podcast,
Yeah.
right, Sammy? But yes, so we need to get those donations in, and the Orion community has always been gracious and generous. And in Oxford, we can't forget that OCTV is also partnering with us, and we are being seen up in Oxford right now, too. So we tied our signals together so they can see us up in Oxford on their Spectrum cable and on the Roku channel, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.
I'm telling you, I think Wildcats got a shot in the girls' side. Boys will be a little bit tough.
Yep, and obviously, I start repeating you and certain things. Do you have any rants? Do you have anything to call out here? I think we've got about a minute and a half. I'm going to have to creep in our closing music.
Of course, with football, obviously, I'm starting working on my top 10 for football right now. Obviously, a lot of storylines coming up for the football season coming up this fall.
Track's coming up. We've got baseball coming
softball.
up. Yep.
I will post it on my blog. Follow my blog at SagononBay46blogspot.com.
Yep, and a feature writer for ONTV on our news blog.
I appreciate it.
Right? So thank you for writing those articles, Sammy. As always, a killer podcast. Sponsor video. Okay, so I'm going to throw it to a sponsor video after we wrap up here. I'm ready. I forgot to talk about fantasy football. Oh, it looks like you were saved by the buzzer. ONTV has a fantasy football league.
No comment.
And Sammy, great regular season, postseason, not so much. All right, OA Now is brought to you by Sammy Terramino, and the views on this show are his and his alone, sometimes mine. If you'd like to make your own podcast, give ONTV a call at 248-393-1060. No comment. He's still saying no comment. That's it for us here on OA Now. We'll see you next time. See ya!
Great job, guys. Sammy, he's a savant when it comes to high school sports here in Oakland County. I feel like I need to apologize to him for beating him in fantasy football at the end of the season. He had the lead until his Philadelphia quarterback threw 2 interceptions to give me the win. So I still feel bad about that, and he can get his revenge next year when the ONTV fantasy football season returns. We are winding down today for our live segment. It's been a great day. We had an awesome donation from the VFW. We had Michelle Ben from Fish here, and just so glad to have her come in and give us an update of how things are going over at Fish. We are over $9,000. We've exceeded our total, and we just want to keep going. It'd be nice if we can rival last year's totals. Ian mentioned earlier that we were over 12,000 last year. Let's see if this community can come together and help us at least get to last year's totals. The Lake Orion community is so generous, and without their support and the business community, we wouldn't be able to do this. The need is great out there. Inflation has taken its toll. There are families in need. Fish is in need of not only food donations, but monetary donations. You can visit our website, orionontv.org. There's a big old donate button that you can click on to donate today. You know what? The IRS is already issuing refunds. And if you've filed and you've gotten your refund, maybe you can, dedicate a portion of that refund to your donation to Fish. I know this Friday is payday, so, maybe some donations will roll in on Friday to help us reach our totals. But as you see the graphic on the screen, orionontv.org, to click on the donate button to help us reach our goal. We've exceeded our goal, but hopefully we can rival last year's totals. You can donate online, like I said, on our orionontv.org website. Also, we want you to help us fill our truck, our ONTV production truck that you may have seen at sporting events and concerts in and around the community. The door is open. It's sitting in the parking lot. You'll see a sign. come to the Orion Center at 1349 Joslin Road, and you don't have to check in. Just roll up to the van and drop your donations into the van and help us fill the truck. If you are in a food emergency, you and your family, do not hesitate to reach out to Fish. They are here to serve residents of Orion, Oxford, Addison, and Oakland Township. You can give them a call at 248-628-3933, or you can visit their website, oxfordorionfish.org. Do not hesitate. Like I said, they're set up like it's your corner grocery store. So if you make an appointment, you can go down there, you get a shopping cart, you make your way up and down the aisles and meet your family's needs. And you don't have to jump through hoops. I've been told that prior to COVID, you had to fill out some forms and there were some checks and balances in place. And since COVID, they've kind of done away with a lot of the red tape. So not a whole lot of questions are asked. If you need food, I know it's difficult to ask for help, but you can contact them, and don't be afraid to ask for help, and go in there and do some shopping for your family. It's a beautiful facility they have right on M24, right near Drainer Road. It's by Italia Garden restaurant, and it's in and out, and they're here to serve you. They're looking for volunteers, they're looking for donations, and I know this Lake Orion community just never fails to come through to help those in need. So thank you for supporting Fish. Thank you for supporting this food drive. We still have 2 more days to go, Thursday and Friday. I will be back on Friday with my brother from another mother, Jimmy Johnson. We're going to do a history segment on Friday. I'm looking forward to that. That's the theme for Friday. So there's programming all throughout the day. Make sure you tune in all day today. Donate, watch our programming, and got 2 more days, and I will see you back here on Friday. Thanks for your support.